Gotta pull a wax back hero. Got stars in his eyes. Back hero.
Now, I have got a pack here. I'm excited to open this because looking through the Beckett here, this pack of 1988 Fleer has some big names in it. A lot of cards here that are worth some money. Now, the only reason they're worth that money is because to score this, we are using a May 1992 Beckett baseball card. We started using a current one, and we ended up with scores of 1 or 2 cents every time. So we've gone back, and we're going to use an older Beckett. We also have a couple of other rules. One rule is if the player is wearing real stirrups, you get an extra cent. If you're wearing the 2-in-1 stirrups, though, you get a -1 cent because nobody likes those.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
If they are sporting a mustache, you get an extra cent. That happens a lot around this era. And then our final rule is if you are a Hall of Famer, you get an extra 5 cents. So
all right.
There are some, I'm looking at the Beckett's here. There are several cards worth over $1. There's a Ron Gant rookie card for $4. A Tom Glavine is only $2. So Ron Gant doubling up the Hall of Famer there. There's a Matt Williams rookie card. There's always a Greg Jeffries rookie card that's worth money. And there's just a regular Bo Jackson that's worth $1.25. So if you are ready, let's go ahead and open these and see what we come up with.
Absolutely.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be advised, Wax Packs Heroes is only for fun, please. No wagering.
Well, you can go ahead and wager. Just give me a cut of it if you win anything. So these flares come with some great stickers. You've got Chicago White Sox and the Minnesota Twins stickers here. The White Sox is the cool like batter silhouette guy. So
right.
You start off good there. All right, your first guy here. This is a catcher for the Cleveland Indians. I vaguely remember him, Brian Dorsett.
You hit Brian Dorsett first card. He's a really good friend of mine. That's hilarious.
Is he really?
That's his only card.
Really? Well, here it is. He played in Tacoma for several years prior to this card, which would have been right where you would have known him.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Well, I hate to inform him, but he is not worth anything, and I can't see his stirrups, and he's got no mustache. Next, we've got a guy definitely wearing real stirrups. I like this guy. Remember, he was on the A's in the early 90s. Scott Sanderson here with the Cubs.
Oh, nice. You got him on the Cubs. Got him on the right team.
Yep. Let's see. So you're just gonna get 1 cent for that because he's got the real stirrups. Not a big money maker, but I remember he was just reliable. He was an innings eater. And typically a 3 or 4 guy, but he was a good guy to have on your staff. Now we'll go to the other side of Chicago. Dave Lapointe, pitcher for the Chicago White Sox.
I remember him.
Yeah, I remember the name. I don't remember too much about him.
He pitched for the White Sox and the Cardinals, so double whammy.
Oh, yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, he kind of made his way around, but he's a lefty. And as we all know, in the 80s and 90s, if you're a left-handed pitcher, but look at that. I don't know if you're looking up these cards, but that grip, he's throwing a palm ball.
Ooh,
nice.
That's a lost art.
Yeah, so we also post these on our YouTube channel. If you're listening to this and want to see, that is a straight up palm ball. I'm not sure I've ever seen that in a card. But unfortunately, that is not worth anything. Next, we've talked about this guy, good and bad. Here he is with the Dodgers, second baseman Steve Sax.
Okay, that's a good one.
Sax.
You got the right Sax though, because the other Sax is never. Dave Sax is never worth anything. So Steve Sax worth 4 cents at this time. Plus, he has got real stirrups on, so that's a 5 cent card. I'll bring you up to 6 cents. Now,
we're in business.
Steve Sax did he suffer from the Chuck Knobloch not being able to throw at some point?
Yeah, it sounds familiar. But I'm not sure.
Yeah, I want to say he did later in his career, but it was at the point where I think he might have just retired because of it. But
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it looks like he's listed on one of the 5 worst cases of the yips in baseball history. So, yep. There you go.
Strike again.
yeah. All right, so now we've got a guy that's thrown a no-hitter for the Seattle Mariners. Here he is for the Milwaukee Brewers, Chris Bosio.
Oh, former Cubs pitching coach.
Oh, was he?
Up until recently, yeah.
Underrated pitcher. He would give you 200 innings a year and pitch really well. I mean, he was a solid pitcher.
So his card is unfortunately not worth anything, but he's got a mustache and he's got real stirrups. So you do get 2 cents out of that. Next, we've pulled this guy before, and I do not remember this guy, and I do not know how to say his last name. He's a pitcher for the Atlanta Braves, Charlie Puleo. Puleo.
Yeah, looks like he
Vaguely
only
familiar.
played in the 80s. I hope he has a mustache in
He does. Yeah, he's got
that card. Looks like his baseball reference page definitely has a nice mustache on it.
Yep, he's got a mustache, and it looks like this was definitely taken in Wrigley Field because I see Ivy
nice.
in the background.
There you go.
So you do get 1 cent on that one for the mustache.
Well, I don't have cards worth anything, but I've got a good mustache and stirrup team.
Yes. Now, if this were a different set, this would be very exciting. It is Billy Ripken holding a bat, posing for the camera, but this is not the infamous Billy Ripken card. This one has just got his number on the knob of the bat.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, and I'm going to get... Oh, but this is his rookie card.
Okay.
Well,
So that is a 5-cent card right there.
There you go.
That's a nickel all day long. So
he hadn't earned the nickname yet.
no. All right. Next, this guy we've talked about before. I mean, we've pulled all these guys before. We've opened enough packs, but second baseman for the Houston Astros, Bill Doran.
Oh, my hero.
That's a solid one.
Yeah, switch hitter, right?
Let's see. Yep. Switch hitter.
Played great defense, kept his mouth shut, hit the ball quick. I love that guy.
Not to be confused with Roger Doran from Major
No,
League.
very different. Yes. One is Corbin Burnson and the other is not.
Yeah. So unfortunately, that card is not worth anything. Now, here's a Seattle Mariner pitcher that I am not familiar with. Mark, we will have to defer to you here, hopefully. Bill Wilkinson.
Ooh, wow. I'm drawing a blank on that one.
Looks like he only pitched a few years.
Yeah, this card, not his rookie card. He came up for a cup of coffee, but he'd already been out at this time. Yeah, not much, but he's a lefty, so he probably stuck around longer than he should have. But no mustache. This is just Flair must have told these guys to shave.
Yeah, they were following the Yankee directive.
Yeah, something's wrong here. This guy I remember him being around when I first started kind of getting into baseball. He seemed like he'd been around forever. Pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals, John Tudor.
John Tudor pitched a while.
He's a lefty, that's why. But
Yeah.
let's see, Mr. Tudor is unfortunately not worth anything, and he is not sporting. They also not a lot of pictures of anybody's stirrups here. These are all posed waist-up pictures. This guy has got a definite mustache. It's not a good-looking mustache, but it's a mustache nonetheless. It is infielder for the Detroit Tigers, Dave Bergman.
Bergman.
Okay, yeah, he played a while. Played a real long time.
Yeah, I remember. He was kind of that. I think he was more of a utility guy. I don't think he was so much of a starter.
Yeah, I think he just played all over the place.
Yeah.
It lasted a long time.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, he looks like he broke in with the Yankees in 75. He had his cup of coffee in 75, but then came back. But it's at least worth 1 cent for that salt and pepper mustache. This guy, I remember this name, but this is not what I remember him looking like. Darrell Miller, the California Angels, and he's listed as a catcher outfielder.
That is
I don't remember a Darrell Miller.
a large catcher.
That is not a combination you see very often.
Kyle Schwarber maybe, but he'll be DHing now that the NL might be having the DH because Schwarber came up as a catcher, which is kind of weird looking back on it.
Yeah, so it's always weird when you see guys, BJ Surhoff came up as a catcher.
Wow.
Obviously, Craig Biggio came up as a catcher. Josh Donaldson came up as a catcher in the Cubs organization.
Oh, don't I know?
It's always strange when you see those guys that at some point caught. So you do get 1 cent for that at least.
Perfect.
Now, I hate to tell you this, but you've got 3 cards left, and you're halfway to our to the bottom of the top 10. So,
oh man.
So this guy we just talked about in a series we're just doing on YouTube, because we do get a extra cent if you've got a mustache. This guy, we were trying to determine if he had a mustache, and ultimately determined he did not. This is Bob Brower for the Texas Rangers.
The controversial Bob Brower.
He clearly in this picture is a baby face where I'm not even sure if he'd ever shaved at all. Just completely clean shaven. He does have real stirrups on, though. So you'll get at least 1 cent. I am going to guess that Mr. Brower is probably not worth anything. He is not.
Interestingly enough, it looks like he was represented by Scott Boras.
Well, then hopefully he's set for life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Baseball Reference has those. Who represents them now?
Oh, yeah.
Always interesting. Next, we've talked about this guy. Made one of the greatest barehanded catches in outfield history after he blatantly misplayed a ball.
Overran it completely.
In Riverfront Stadium, Mr. Kevin Mitchell here with the San Francisco Giants.
Okay. Well, that's a little more name recognition than we've gotten on some of these, at least.
Definitely. Let's see. This was kind of at the
MVP to his name.
You're gonna like Kevin Mitchell, as long as you don't look into what he does off the field or did off the field. So he's got a mustache, but you have to remember that this is right kind of during the height of the Pacific Sock Exchange with he and Will Clark and Jack Clark.
Right.
This card is listed for 35 cents.
Wow. There we go.
Plus the penny for the mustache. So that brings your total up to 53 cents. Wow.
Very respectable.
Game changer.
Yeah, that's what we found recently. You kind of get one card and it makes your score legitimate.
Wait, who was the card?
Kevin Mitchell.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So your final card here is somebody I've loved for a long time. Former A's pitcher, former A's pitching coach, Mr. Kurt Young.
Oh, I have a Kurt Young story.
Well, this is the place to go. Assuming you can.
I had to pick him up from the airport once, and this is pre, GPS, and I completely got lost. And I'm driving around the airport, and he finally just looks at me and goes, "Mark, just admit you're lost, pull off, and ask someone for directions." So I did.
Well, that will bring your total to 50. What did I say? 53 cents, which is I'm updating our leaderboard here. That will put you actually in 5th place. You're actually tied for 5th place with Jesse Goldberg Strassler, the play-by-play announcer for the Lansing Lugnuts.
Nice.
So
rarefied air there in the top 5.
Yeah. So I think I told you that we had Brad Balukjian on.
Yeah.
And as you can suspect, having done an entire book about the pack of 1986 tops, he brought his own 1986 tops and scored very well with it, with a total of $1.03.
Man, yeah, it's only fitting that the guy who wrote the book about it ends up on top.
Yeah,
yep.
But but you are in there. You're in there in the top the top 5. So congratulations.
Very nice. Thank you.
So before we let you go, Jacob, first off, thanks again for joining us. You want to tell everybody where they can get your book, where they can maybe find you on social media, or where they can essentially get a hold of you?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been kind of pointing people more towards IndieBound now, if you can. Just, obviously during the pandemic, to try to kind of help out those independent bookstores. So I think IndieBound, if it's convenient for you, is a good option. But then, of course, Amazon and all the big kind of, Barnes and Noble, stuff like that. If you just Google the Cup of Coffee Club, you should be able to find something. But again, IndieBound would be my preferred choice for you to do it if you have the option. And then on Twitter, that's kind of where I do most of my baseball ramblings. I'm at Korn Sports, and it's with a K, so KORN Sports. And I might have a weird baseball nugget or two for you, and hopefully get through the rest of this quarantine before baseball starts with at least some baseball content to speak of.
Yes, we're all holding our breath, waiting for it to come back.
Yes.
Hopefully, at the right time, and so we can get everybody out there safe and get through an entire whatever the season might be. But Jacob, thank you again very much for joining us. We really enjoyed your book. The book, once again, is The Cup of Coffee Club: 11 Players and Their Brush with Baseball History. Thank you very much, Jacob.
Thanks for coming on,
guys.
Jake.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Stars in his eyes. Wax back hero. Gonna pull